There comes a moment in life when something inside you finally snaps, not in anger, but in clarity. A moment when you look at your reflection and realize that every excuse you have ever spoken has built the walls around the life you're trapped in. And suddenly you understand the truth you've been avoiding for years. Your life changes the instant you stop lying to yourself. Not tomorrow, not when things get easier, not when circumstances magically align. It changes when you take responsibility for everything you once blamed on fate, luck, fear, or other people. Because excuses are clever stories disguised as limitations, but in reality, they are the chains you forged with your own hands. They pretend to protect you, but all they do is keep you small. Think about how many dreams you buried under the phrase, "I'll start later." How many opportunities you missed because you convinced yourself you weren't ready. How many times you let fear whisper that you were not enough, so you didn't try. These excuses aren't external forces. They're internal narratives written by the parts of you afraid to grow. The truth is simple. You are not stuck because your life is difficult. You are stuck because your mind keeps repeating the same story. And the most painful part, you believed it. But imagine if today, in this single moment, you dared to rewrite that story. Imagine if you stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started saying, "What can I do about it?" That shift alone is enough to redirect the entire trajectory of your life. Because excuses may feel comfortable, but they come with a hidden cost. Your potential, your confidence, and the person you are meant to become. Every time you choose an excuse, you trade a piece of your future for a temporary comfort. And deep down, you already know this moment right now is your turning point. You're standing at the edge of who you were and who you can become. One step is ruled by fear and stories. The other is ruled by responsibility and power. And the question echoing inside you is this: which identity will you choose? No one can make that decision for you. No amount of motivation will save you if you still cling to excuses. But if you choose to take ownership, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your focus strengthens. Your life aligns. Because when you stop making excuses, you stop waiting for life to happen, and you start creating it. Excuses are not harmless thoughts. They are psychological traps designed by your own mind to keep you exactly where you are. Your mind doesn't fear failure. It fears discomfort. It fears stepping into unfamiliar territory. It fears losing control. So instead of letting you evolve, it convinces you with beautifully crafted lies. You're not ready. It's too risky. It's not the right time. You don't have what it takes. These lies feel true because they echo your deepest insecurities, and the brain knows exactly how to use fear to keep you small. Every excuse you've ever made came from a place of protection, not truth. Your brain would rather keep you comfortable than see you become powerful. And that's why excuses sound so reasonable. That's why they feel logical. That's why they feel safe. But safety is not growth, comfort is not progress, and repeating the same excuses over and over eventually becomes a lifestyle that quietly steals your dreams while convincing you that you still have time. The most dangerous illusion in life is later. Later becomes next week, next year, someday, eventually, until it turns into regret. People don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they keep postponing the life they desire. They train their minds to accept delay as a strategy, when in reality, delay is destruction. Every excuse you entertain weakens your identity. Every time you justify an action, you teach your brain that mediocrity is acceptable. And when mediocrity becomes normal, excellence becomes impossible. But here is the breakthrough. Excuses are not your enemy. They are signals. Every excuse reveals the exact part of your life where growth is needed. If you say you don't have time, it means discipline is missing. If you say you're not ready, it means confidence needs to be built. If you say you don't know how, it means learning is required. Excuses don't point to your limits, they point to your next level. When you change the way you interpret these excuses, the world around you shifts. The things that once felt impossible start to look achievable. The barriers that once blocked you begin to dissolve. Because when you challenge your excuses, you challenge the beliefs that created them. And once the belief changes, the behavior changes. And once the behavior changes, the results transform. Your mind may lie to you, but your potential never does. The question is no longer, why can't I? But what is this excuse trying to stop me from becoming? The moment you confront that truth, you reclaim your power, and power is the beginning of transformation. There is a version of you that exists beyond every excuse you've ever made, stronger, clearer, more disciplined, more focused. But you cannot access that version until you first understand this truth. Your life rises to the level of the identity you believe in. Most people fail not because life is too hard, but because they are living through the lens of a weak self-image. They tell themselves they are not capable, not worthy, not ready, and eventually the mind builds a prison around these beliefs. The key to breaking that prison is self-belief, not the shallow kind rooted in fake confidence, but the deep, unshakable belief that who you choose to become matters more than who you used to be. This is where transformation begins, not with action, but with identity. When you change the way you talk to yourself, the way you act begins to follow. When you replace "I can't" with "I'm learning," your mind stops resisting growth and starts adapting to it. When you stop repeating the narrative of your limitations, you stop reinforcing them. Most people try to change their habits without changing their identity. Yet habits cannot survive if the identity behind them remains the same. If you see yourself as someone who gives up easily, your behavior will always align with that belief. But if you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who chooses discipline over distraction, someone who refuses to negotiate their goals, your life will shift in ways you never imagined. Self-belief is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing that whatever is imperfect can be improved. It's about standing face to face with your excuses and refusing to let them define you. It's about recognizing that fear is not a barrier. It's a signal that you are stepping into new territory. The mind always resists what is unfamiliar, but familiarity grows through repetition. Every day you show up, even imperfectly, you teach your brain that growth is safe. And once growth feels safe, excuses lose their power. Building an excuse-proof mindset means refusing to let temporary feelings dictate long-term decisions. It means choosing calm. It meant over comfort. It means doing the work even when motivation disappears. It means showing up for yourself the way you show up for the things you care about. And most importantly, it means trusting that the strength you need is already within you, waiting to be activated. Your potential is not located in the future. It is located in your decision to believe in yourself right now. The moment you decide to rise above the stories that limit you, the moment you stop identifying with the weakest parts of your past, the moment you choose to embody a stronger version of yourself, your entire path begins to elevate. Self-belief is the foundation. Discipline is the structure. And the life you desire is built through the identity you choose to step into. Manifestation is not magic, luck, or wishful thinking. It is the alignment between who you are, what you believe, and how you act. Too many people think they can attract the life they want while living in contradiction to it. They say they want success, but their habits are shaped by excuses. They say they want transformation, but their actions align with their old identity. They say they want a new life, but they keep repeating the patterns of the old one. Manifestation does not respond to words. It responds to energy, choices, and consistency. You cannot attract what you are not willing to work for. The moment you take responsibility for your life, your energy changes. You stop waiting, you stop blaming, you stop wishing. Instead, you begin to act with intention. Responsibility raises your vibration because it shifts you from passive observer to active creator. Every action aligned with your goals becomes a signal to the universe, this is who I am becoming. And life always mirrors your internal direction. When you act like the person you want to be, opportunities begin to appear. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Excuses lower your energy. They cloud your thinking. They slow your progress. They disconnect you from your potential. But action, even small action, creates momentum, and momentum creates identity. Identity creates reality. This is the alignment loop that shapes every human life Thought, action, habit, identity, reality. The problem is that most people try to change reality while keeping the same thoughts, the same habits, and the same excuses. But reality doesn't shift until the mindset shifts, and mindset doesn't shift until responsibility begins. When you remove excuses, you clear space for clarity. When you stop justifying inaction, you strengthen your discipline. When you stop postponing your goals, you increase your power. Every step you take builds evidence that you are capable. And as evidence increases, confidence expands. Confidence then fuels more action, and action fuels more manifestation. This is how real transformation happens, not in one breakthrough moment, but in thousands of small, consistent choices. Manifestation is not passive dreaming, it is the vibration of alignment. It is the courage to act on your vision, even when no one understands your path. It is the discipline to keep going, even on days when motivation is silent. It is the refusal to let your past write the script for your future. When you live in alignment with the life you want, life eventually responds with opportunities, clarity, and breakthroughs. You are not waiting for the universe to bless you. The universe is waiting for you to align, to act, to decide. Responsibility is the highest frequency of creation. When you claim it fully, excuses dissolve, self-doubt weakens, and manifestation becomes a gnat. You're a result of who you are becoming. Everything you desire is already on its way. The moment you decide to match its energy, there comes a point in your journey when you finally recognize the real enemy. Not failure, not obstacles, not your circumstances, but your attachment to comfort. Comfort is seductive. It makes you feel safe even when it is slowly suffocating your potential. It whispers that you can start tomorrow, that you can lower your standards, that you can stay the same and still expect a better life. But growth has no interest in your comfort. Growth demands discomfort, discipline, and honesty. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself you've avoided for years, the habits that limit you, the choices that weaken you, the patterns that keep repeating because you continue to indulge them. The breakthrough happens when you finally stop negotiating with your excuses and start choosing the path that strengthens you. When you stop avoiding hard conversations with yourself. When you stop letting temporary feelings decide your long-term future. Most people want change, but they refuse to endure the discomfort that produces it. They stay trapped in patterns that feel familiar even though they lead nowhere. But once you see comfort for what it truly is, a cage, something shifts within you. You start to understand that the pain of staying the same is far greater than the pain of becoming more. Growth is not supposed to feel easy. It is supposed to challenge you, stretch you, break old identities and shape new ones. Every time you choose discipline instead of distraction, you strengthen a new version of yourself. Every time you choose responsibility instead of excuses, you upgrade your standards, and standards determine destiny. When you're asked, standards rise, your life rises with them. But when your standards weaken, your life collapses into mediocrity. Breakthrough happens slowly at first, quietly, internally, invisibly. It happens the moment you wake up and decide not to repeat yesterday's patterns. It happens the moment you say no to your weaker impulses. It happens the moment you choose self-control over self-sabotage. These seemingly small decisions accumulate until one day you look back and realize you've become someone you once believed you could never be. What stands between you and that version of yourself is not time, resources, or luck. It is the daily choice between comfort and growth. Growth will cost you the life you've outgrown. It will cost you the old story, the old excuses, the old identity. But what it gives you in return is freedom, the freedom to become the person you were meant to rise into. Your breakthrough begins the moment you stop asking for an easier path and start demanding more from yourself. The world won't hand you transformation. You must claim it through the choices you make when no one is watching. Growth is waiting to welcome you, but comfort is still holding your hand. The question is simple: which hand will you let go of? The life you want is not hidden somewhere far away. It is standing right behind your excuses, waiting for you to move them aside. Every dream you've imagined, every breakthrough you've prayed for, every version of yourself you've wished to become is already possible. the moment you stop believing the lies that hold you back. The future you desire is not built by luck or hope, it is built by identity, discipline, and responsibility. It begins the moment you realize that no excuse has ever improved your life, strengthened your character, or moved you closer to your purpose. When excuses end, clarity appears. You begin to see your life with honesty instead of avoidance. You recognize that you are not powerless. You are powerful beyond measure. You understand that you were never waiting on life. Life was waiting on you, waiting for you to stop hiding behind limitations, waiting for you to stop shrinking yourself to fit old patterns, waiting for you to finally step into the person you were always capable of being. The moment you take that step, a new world opens, a world where you don't break down when challenges arise, a world where you don't hesitate when opportunities appear, a world where discipline feels natural, where confidence grows from consistent action, where success is no longer a distant dream, but a daily direction. When excuses disappear, your energy changes. You stop feeling like a victim and start behaving like a creator. You stop doubting and start deciding. You stop wishing and start becoming. This is your moment of awakening, the realization that you are the only one who can save your future from the limitation of your past. You don't need permission to change. You don't need validation to rise. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. Transformation is not about doing everything at once. It's about refusing to repeat the patterns that kept you small. The moment you decide that excuses have no place in your life, you release the weight that has been holding you down for years. Your new life begins when you stop repeating the stories that kept you in the old one. When you stop letting fear vote on your decisions, when you stop allowing doubt to direct your path. The version of you that exists beyond excuses is stronger, bolder, clearer, and more powerful than you can imagine. And that version is not waiting for someday. It is waiting for a single choice right now, the choice to stop blaming, the choice to stop delaying, the choice to stop shrinking, the choice to become who you are meant to be. Excuses are the walls around your greatness. Tear them down and watch your entire life expand. Your future starts the moment you decide it does, and that moment is now.